everybody. I'm here with Mel.
Hi, everybody. Monday tea with Linda and Mel.
Monday tea. Y'all got your tea?
Except that's green tea
That's green tea. That's good for you.
with a little sparkling water.
I like good old Southern sweet tea.
Oh, that's honey in the South where I come from. That's called tea syrup.
I just love it. And it's no good for me.
One glass won't hurt you, but you'll have a sugar high for a week.
Yeah. That not that I used to love Roseanne. I'm sorry she turned away. She did, but she used to say that she gave her kids anything they wanted, chocolate, cookies, and all that. And by the time they got down from their sugar coma, they'd pass out and she'd done her job. Okay, so listen, you got a lot. First, I want to make an announcement or show y'all something. Don't be jealous, ladies. Hello. My friend sent me this. I guess she had it made. She knew I was going to love it. I got it yesterday. Oh my God.
Sleeping with it every night.
Honey, this is going straight to my bed. It's a shame I'll only be home another night or two before I head out for Sedona. Because I don't want to drag it to Sedona in case something happens.
Oh, then you can tell everybody you took a man to Sedona. Then you can tell everybody you took a man to Sedona.
Yeah. That's true, huh? Okay, so here we go. So we got loads of questions. Do you have any announcements or anything?
Oh, yes. I want to say thank you to Anne-Marie. She sent me the most wonderful biscottis. Those are like Italian, you dip them in your pot.
Those are delicious.
She made them and she sent me the recepe. And oh my God, I'm like, here my diet went. But they were amazing. So yay. Next summer, we're having a trip to Croatia in July. That trip is sold out. So I had another one in August.
Okay. I think my sister and I are going to that.
Yes, yay. And so,
but you got to send me the link. You haven't sent it to me yet.
I will, and I'll bring the information next week. So
okay, next August.
Yes, next August.
All right, you guys. So here we go. Carol says, looks like they want to start tampering with voting machines in several states. Will the Fed step in and stop this? They seem to be destroying evidence. Thank you.
Well, my guides are telling me that the outcome's not going to matter what they say. You know, you get these what do they call them? Internet ninjas or something, and they're conspiracy theorists. And, you know, it's not going to overturn the election. I think what the Trumplicans are trying to do is just create dissension and anarchy. And if they can do that and question the election, then they think they have ground in the future to question every election and to get those voter suppression laws passed. But those voter suppression laws. The problem
is they only focus on if a Democrat won. They're not focusing on their own people.
Exactly. So the voter suppression laws will be overturned by the court. I think the court will step in and say enough of this BS with these fake audits. And you're right, Linda. And like in the Republican states where they won, okay, well then why aren't they auditing that? Why are they auditing where they've lost?
Exactly. Everybody's saying now we got to do Kentucky, North Carolina, etc.
Please. Did you hear BS about why Kentucky? You know what? Mitch McConnell won Kentucky.
Yeah.
But did you hear the BS about somebody said that I heard Rachel Maddow say, this was really funny. One of the Trumplicans said that they tore up the ballots, fed them the chickens, and then they incinerated the chickens. And Rachel Maddow say, why would you incinerate the chickens? Just incinerate the ballots.
It's so stupid.
You know, it's like all this vaccine stuff. Some people have been getting kickback from that. And they're like, well, why would I take the vaccine? It's going to rewire my DNA, or they can track me through the vaccine. They don't need to track you through a vaccine. They can do it through these things. They're called cell phones.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to rewire anybody's DNA or RNA. It's safe. And you know what? I had COVID, and trust me, you don't want it. So Linda, I stand united with you and telling people that it's their choice, but they should get their vaccine.
Right. And Dr. Fauci.
And Dr. Fauci. Maybe
and they're all upset because like private organizations, corporations, airlines, they may require proof that you were vaccinated.
They're going to. The European Union does. Like now, when you go into Croatia and those places, you have to show your vaccination certificate. And if you don't show it, you ain't getting it. So,
Right, exactly. Unless there's some physical, like they're saying
that's
autoimmune
different.
compromise, you know.
That's different. I have clients that like have Crohn's and they're on drugs to bring down their immune system, and they
Right.
can't. I understand that.
Yeah,
But I'm
they'll
talking
have something they can have instead.
exactly. But I'm talking for John Q. Public, you know?
Right, right. So here's a question from Linda, who has a very high class name, by the way.
I love the name.
Will Marjorie Green be removed soon for harassment in the workplace?
Oh
And
my
oh my God.
We're doing telepathic because I was just going to bring up the big mouth blonde, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Did you hear that comment she made about she linked the mask mandate to the Holocaust?
Yes.
What she said was, where during the Holocaust, Jews were forced to wear
A star.
stars, and then they sent them off to gas chambers. And she linked wearing a mask to that. Excuse me, what planet is she on? But yet there was nothing done to her for making that comment.
No, if she was working for IBM, she'd be fired.
Well, here's the deal. You know, here again, I'm not a fan of Liz Cheney, but they stripped her of her leadership role because she stood up and told the truth, okay? But they don't do anything to Green. You know, in my opinion, she's vitriolic, racist, bigoted. The stuff she says is not true, and she's vulgar and obscene. And you know what? I'm glad that Linda asked that question, because Marjorie Taylor Greene will meet her Waterloo. She will fall.
Thank you.
I get very passionate about it.
Well, she's also Trump's puppet.
Well, no, yeah, she is, but only because what she's trying to do, she knows what she's saying is a crock of BS, but
Right.
she's doing it because what she's doing is because she is playing to that fascist minority because she wants their support, because she thinks it's going to make her.
She made $3 million.
Well, you know what?
Wow, she's a circus act.
Right, and that's exactly why that they keep her, because they know that she's raising money for them. And it's just sad to me that that in the Republican Party, the Trumplican Party, I'm sorry, the intolerable has become tolerable. You know, a lot of those Trumplicans, pardon my language, I have to say that, they're kissing the devil's ass.
Yeah.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene's got brown on her nose.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my flash was. My flash is, wow.
She's going to be under investigation.
Trump is going down. And when Trump starts going down, I saw, like I told everybody 3 years ago, it's like I see rats jumping the ship.
Well, you know what's going to happen? Oh, you mean cockroaches?
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen? Well, a lot of them will just come up with a conspiracy theory. But when Trump ends up falling off the wall, if you will, no pun intended, you know, they're not going to allow him to like do all those blogs and all that crap. They're going to shut him up. Yeah. I still don't see him going to jail. You know, Linda,
I've never seen him going to jail either.
My guides,
I know people want it so bad.
My guides are showing me his health is really going to be bad. I mean,
I saw him standing before a judge, and I saw lawyers.
So do I, but there's something going on in his head. I don't know if it's a stroke or something, but I am having a hard time seeing a long-term future for him.
Yeah, we're not saying he's going to die, but we're saying health related.
I don't wish anything bad on anybody.
Oh, and you don't want someone like him to go, because then he'll be a saint.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she will be brought down. But I find, and so will Kevin McCarthy, because he stands by and lets her do it.
I know. So, after he called out the truth and said Trump did this, then he turned it around. They're just, well, remember they all said, including Lindsey Graham, that guy's crazy. I wouldn't vote for him to be president. If we vote for him, we're in trouble and we deserve it, to hail Trump.
Right, because they're playing to his base and they think that that's going to give them political gain. But it's going to, I mean, the Republican Party with the Republicans and the Trumplicans, it's like a civil war. And, ultimately the Trumplicans will not win. The thing with, I think with Marjorie Taylor Greene and also with Kevin McCarthy, um, thank God that Merrick Garland is the DOJ,
Right.
because he's going to be investigating some stuff that Kevin McCarthy has pulled. And I think that they're going to be able to prove that Kevin McCarthy did engage in obstruction in trying to keep that commission, that January 6th commission, from going through.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, he's going to be in big trouble.
Okay. I love it.
Me
Here's
too.
another good question from Sophia. Who removed the panic buttons from Representative Presley's office on 1/6, and will they ever be charged?
Well, that was an inside job, I'm sure. Who was it that was giving tours of the Capitol to those people a couple days before
They're not saying, but they have the film.
Well, guess what? Those are the ones that probably removed. They didn't remove them, but probably had them removed. And I forget what. Well, yes, the panic buttons will be reinstated, and yes, they will be charged.
Okay, thank you. Kimberly says, what do you see happening to unvaccinated people? Will they be okay because so many others got vaccinated, or do you see COVID-19 or its variants harming them?
Well, there's a saying in the South where I come from. It's like, you don't want to flirt with the undertaker. And so,
right.
For herd immunity to work, you have to have more than 50%, maybe, I forget the number, 75, 80%, 90 vaccinated. I mean, I agree with somebody's choice not to get it, but I don't agree with their choice then to infect others. So if you don't get the vaccine, wear a mask. That's right. And put Tucker Carlson's name on there, please.
There you go.
So, her question was, what do I see happening to them? Unfortunately, some people will get COVID.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some people will die.
Right. Well, I talked to nurses that have young kids that said they didn't believe it and they died. They were sick.
It's like my great
very
niece.
Sad for them.
Tell that to her, the parents of my great niece is a respiratory therapist in Kentucky, and she said, tell that to some of the parents who've lost their teenage kids and their children due to COVID.
Yeah.
Or the wife who's like 28 and her husband is 30 and died of COVID.
Right.
It's
a nasty virus, but I feel as Trump goes down and as they start seeing, I see some people, having to go through it. But I see that as they notice the people who've been vaccinated have no long-term effects, then they go in.
No, there's no long-term effects at all. At least I've had the vaccine, and
but it's still new, and people are like leery. They're standing back and they're leery. But as they notice, people are okay, because you're always going to have something with a vaccine. There's always something.
It's always going to be a tiny percentage that are going to have a negative reaction. That goes without.
Yeah.
But it's a trade-off, because look at all the gains that we're making. I mean, the numbers are going down. Right. I've always been pro-vaccine. I didn't get my flu shots for a long time. I said, I'm not going to do it. One year I got the flu and I got pneumonia, and I said, After that, I'm waiting in line to get my flu shot.
You get your flu shot, yeah.
And if they've got a COVID booster, I'm going to be waiting in line for that.
Oh, me too. Patty wrote, rural area Trumpsters and people belonging to the Proud Boys in Northern California, Oregon, and Nevada have become emboldened recently. They want their rural areas to become part of Idaho in Shasta County. They're threatening people who turn in restaurants for not complying with mask orders and are running for offices to take control over county politics. Some people are afraid to speak out. I fear violence. What do you see happening, and when will this conflict end?
Well, this country is very near a civil war. I mean, it's so polarized. I mean, I see like a bloodless civil war going on, and, the Trumplicans against the Republicans. And a lot of the Republicans are afraid to speak up for that very reason. But I think we need to speak up, just like this lady just did,
Right.
we will not tolerate racism, bigotry. We will not tolerate what's going on with all this hate mongering.
Mhm.
And I think when enough people start to speak up against, you know, the supremacist and the racist, a lot of this crap will stop. I do disagree with her on one thing. She said they feel emboldened in those areas. Honey, I got news for you. They're feeling emboldened across the country.
Right.
And
When I was reading this to you, I kept seeing jackets like DEA, FBI. So there
right,
might be a major thing they come in and clear them out.
they are going to. They are going to. And it'll take some time. But, you know, with this whole Trump investigation and, you know, then all these supremacists trying to take over local governments. I mean, for a while, it'll look like they succeed, these supremacists. But remember, just because they win the battle doesn't mean they'll win the war.
No, they won't.
So in answer to her question, I see a lot of people starting to speak up, a lot of people saying enough is enough. We will not tolerate this hatred, this bigotry. And at some point, a lot of it will end.
It's interesting because they want to cram it down your throat. They just want to cram it down your throat.
They do.
So this lady
that was a
wrote,
great question, by the way.
yeah, it was great. This lady, Roseanne, she's so funny. She said she saw the news this morning that people actually believe that the January 6th was staged by actors. So all those actors are in jail, I guess. She said, holy moly, when will this fake news end? That's her question.
Well, that's going to go on because, you know, what's going on here is this brainwashing. That's how Hitler came to power, because what Hitler did is created this xenophobia, this fear of, and played on that. Okay.
Right,
And
right.
that's exactly what's going on in this country. And what happens is people suspend their critical thinking and they go strictly on emotion and fear. And that's how the people like Trump and those banana republic dictators gain power.
Yeah.
So I think we need to bring back our common sense and our critical thinking.
There you go, my friend.
And that will happen. I mean, what about that gun salesman representative that said, "Oh, it looks like it was just a bunch of vacationers walking through the Capitol."
Was that the NRA guy?
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pew?
No, I think it was some congressperson, a representative that sold guns or something. It was a former gun salesman. But my thing is, okay, the Republicans are downplaying it, but if he said they're like vacationers and now they're saying it's staged, excuse me, did they watch the same video I watched?
Right.
How can you stage a bunch of actors storming the Capitol building? That is crap.
Exactly.
I mean, anybody with half a brain, even.
We're not talking about brains here.
No, we're not talking about brains at all.
Okay, here's a good question. You're going to like this. Susan Collins is being investigated for voter financial fraud. Her husband is also implicated. How will this play out and who else will be connected?
Susan Collins, he won't do it again.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, I think he's learned his lesson. Well, Susan, you're going to end up under indictment because of what you did. And so
the guy that gave her the money got a big contract with Maine.
Exactly. Bad impression of Susan Collins, but everybody got help.
I know, she seemed so meek and sweet, but you notice all of a sudden she was dressing much nicer, her face looks good, so she was putting some money in her appearance.
Well, she made a play in the beginning like they were meeting with Biden, they were going to work together, but she takes the Trumplican stand, and anybody that stands or supports Trump, in my opinion, are racist, bigoted, and they're gonna, unfortunately, that'll always be, but not to the extent it is now.
Okay.
And she's gonna be out of office, and she could very easily, and I think at some point she will be sentenced to jail.
Ooh. Whoa.
And like insider trading.
You heard it here first, you guys.
She might not. She might only spend a year, but
S.K. Richards. Will Southwest Louisiana get major hurricanes this 2021 season? We're still recovering from last year's hurricanes, Laura and Delta, and recent flooding. Thank you both very much.
I had predicted that the East would be getting hit by a lot of hurricanes this year. It's going to be a record
That's
hurricane.
what I saw. Yeah. More than the Gulf of Mexico.
Exactly. I think of a few will whip up through the Gulf, but Louisiana's on the Gulf. And so thank goodness, I think they'll kind of get a reprieve this year. But what they have to watch out for down south is this record flooding. I mean, it's crazy.
Armageddon flooding, even in China, it was horrible floods out there in China.
And then the drought out west,
well, that's what those aliens told me. Well, that gentleman that comes through, he's an actual alien, or he's humanoid with weird eyes. And he said to me, one of the problems.
It's like some of my past boyfriends.
Okay. he said one of the problems with Earth is that there's too much water and there's too little water.
Well,
so he's saying, flooding and drought.
Well, I think, for those people who disagree with climate change, my question is, have you stepped outside lately? I mean, yesterday here in Chicago, it was like 85, and then it rained and the temperature dropped by 30 degrees.
Wow.
And then over Memorial Day, it's always kind of chilly and rainy, but it's going to get down into the 50s, and that's unseasonably cool for this time of year.
Right.
So the climate's all screwed up.
Yeah.
But I don't think Louisiana is going to get hit too hard, thank God.
Oh, good. Okay, she'll be glad to hear that. Okay, so someone wrote and wanted me to tap into Lorraine, what's her name? Lorraine Warren, but I'm not going to do that today. Do me a favor, Lisa, when I post for Dead Famous, post on there and I'll take a look, because that's a good one. And also somebody asked, it's Tamara, she asked, will there be any new discoveries about the causes of autism?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Will there be any new discoveries about the causes of autism?
Well, it's not caused from vaccines. All right.
Okay, thank you.
And I think, my guides tell me with the research going on with genetics, and we've mapped the human genome and everything like that, I think they're going to find out that autism and that whole spectrum does have some sort of genetic basis.
Okay.
And so there's going to be amazing discoveries coming in the field of autism. And so I don't think it's a cure, but at least, being able to check and see if a fetus is going to be positive for any kind of autistic gene or anything like that. I think that's really promising.
Right. Oh, let's see. You guys have so many good questions. I wish we could do all of them. Will Dems start fighting back against all this Republican nonsense anytime soon, Deborah?
Well, I think the Dems are finally starting to grow a set, or sets. And speaking up, I mean, the Dems tried to play it nice, and that just didn't work.
Biden wants to be seen as trying to work across the table, but this is a whole new ball game.
But he's finding out that's not working.
No.
But what the one thing about Biden is, I looked at his accomplishments. I mean, he's done more in 100 days or more than Trump did in 4 years. It's amazing, this stuff.
And that pisses Trump off. And also the stock market is going up, up, up.
Oh, Trump can't stand it. And you
would blame him for everything.
You had asked me on a past video, somebody asked a question, and I think our last one, if Trump was nervous. And the answer is yes, because whenever he starts ranting, then that he's nervous and he's trying to divert. So he's
all the stuff they're finding out about the DOJ.
Oh yeah,
with Barr.
Both of us have predicted Barr is going to go to the pokey. Well, he's on his way. But anyway, so yes, I think that the Democrats will start to speak up. Good. And I think that infrastructure thing, there was a lot of Republicans in the House that liked it. No Trumplicans did. But then in the Senate, we got Mitch McConnell. Well, we don't need that commission because, or we don't need the infrastructure. I think that they're going to get it through. If the Republicans don't work with them, I think they're going to be able to do something with the reconciliation.
That's what they're going to do. That's what Rachel Maddow predicts.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
And, you know, I here again, I don't get it. They allowed Trump to spend more money on crap than any president in American history, but yet to put into infrastructure and things like that, well, we can't afford it. Excuse
Oh,
me?
we're still paying for his family until till July 20th to have Secret Service. An
And
arm
his
and a leg.
wall, and his trips to Mar-a-Lago, and the Secret Service, who's protecting Cheeto Head right now,
Yeah.
and all of that. And
Uh,
so the Dems will speak up,
Well,
yes.
but you know what will happen is it's going to be such a good thing, this new Green Deal, just like with the COVID thing that they
Right.
did. And then all those people were saying, oh, yes, come get your COVID this or come get your, and like they were part of this great plan. 76% of Americans want the stuff that Biden's putting forward.
Absolutely.
So who are these people listening to?
Well, it's almost like an apartheid in this country. There's a small percentage of these
Yeah.
alt-rightists that get all the attention, and we need to really start diverting that to the positive things that are going on.
I'd just like to know if they all cashed that $1,400 check.
Oh, Linda, they cashed that $1,400 check and probably wanted more.
Yeah. Hey, somebody, Theodore, I just want to say, he's not really asking a question, but I will announce it here on this show. You heard it here. He had a flash. I saw Trump wearing handcuffs last year. Wasn't looking to see this vision. A note of seeing him. He was handcuffed in the front and he was wearing an overcoat. To me, that says fall. A bit cold enough to need a coat on. We'll be seeing Trump on TV wearing handcuffs this fall. Will we be?
I love that vision.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness, it's so apropos. The answer is yes, we'll be seeing him under indictment and arrested. They might, I don't know if we'll see him in handcuffs, but
Yeah. I always see him in front. Now, my vision 4 years ago, before I even started this video, YouTube, was that I was in a shopping center and I saw him in a glass coffin.
wow.
And it was him with the red tie. And people were mulling about. No one was paying attention. He had lights on him like Stalin did.
Right.
And I went up and I looked and I'm like, oh my God, that's Donald Trump. But it was so profound.
But you just said something that really struck a chord with me.
What?
He was in this glass coffin and nobody was paying.
I was the only one that went up to see, is this really Trump?
So ultimately, nobody's going to be paying attention to him. His blog is suffering already.
People were mulling about. No one was looking over. Nobody stood in line, nothing.
You know, we had both predicted that he's going to be indicted, but I don't know. I just love that vision of him in handcuffs.
I know, I do too. So, MS Pioneer Girl. I read an article in the New York Times about how the world population is declining, even in Chile and India, through some countries in Africa, although some countries in Africa are on the rise. Is there anything you can pick up on where all these souls are?
You mean the ones that have died?
No, she's saying we're not populating.
Okay, but what was the question?
The question is, why are we not populating, even in India and Chile?
Well, because I think a lot of those countries are saying that we can't sustain this population growth. And I think a lot of those countries are saying, okay, we really need to cut population because the planet can't sustain that kind of population growth. There's just not enough room or resources.
So is there a natural tendency not to be able to have children? Does Mother Earth work that way?
I don't think it's that. I just think it's some campaigns in those countries, like in China. I don't know. And I understand India is putting a real big emphasis on that right now. And I think the other thing too is as you get more people, disease gets bigger. Like in India, you've got a huge poor class. I mean, they are the poorest of poor. And unfortunately, you know, they don't have nutrition, they don't have this. And so, and because that class is getting bigger, a lot more of them are dying,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
And
I,
with that COVID, yeah.
I think that the population diminishing a little bit is the Earth Mother's way of saying we need to really take a look at that because we can't sustain this population growth.
Exactly.
Um,
Okay, so Gilda says, what is going on May 26th? People are talking about a celestial cosmic event to happen in regards to ascension on that day.
I don't see
I
anything.
haven't heard anything.
Uh,
I know we have a fabulous moon coming up
I'll be on an airplane.
on the 26th. Yeah.
uh, uh, but I really don't predict anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Annie says, what does dreaming of an owl sleeping at your feet while you're in your bed mean?
Well, the owl is a symbol of obviously wisdom. This could be a person who is getting the message that probably they need to pay more attention to their intuition and their psychic abilities, and that those psychic eyes will be opening up for them.
Oh, yeah. So Holly wants to know, do animals have guardian angels? I never heard that question before.
You know what? That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Well, animals have souls, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? I'm asking my guides, and I'm hearing yes, they do.
Wow.
They have guides.
Is
Absolutely.
it other animals or is it human form or angelic form?
Well, I think what happens is our guides come to us, unless they're dearly departed, in ways that we can understand.
Okay.
Because if we saw them in their true form, we wouldn't understand it.
Okay.
All right. And I think that's why some people say that they're aliens, this or that, because we wouldn't understand that true form. So I think, you know, that the guides will come to dogs in ways that dogs understand.
Exactly.
But I think it all comes from the same source.
Can your guides explain Stonehenge aliens or druids or something else? This is from Kate for Kate.
I don't think it was alien. I almost think it was really an ancient calendar and an ancient way to measure the movement of the sun and the moon and aligning that way. You know, they were great observers. That's what it was. But the thing that fascinates me, and I haven't gotten the answer quite yet, is how they built it.
Okay.
That fascinates me more.
Yeah.
But it wasn't built by aliens, it was built by people.
Right, exactly. So Debbie wants to know, will Letitia James and Cyrus Vance and or his successor be able to tie Trump directly to criminal activities as tax fraud and insurance fraud?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
I could hear yes while I was asking you the question. I'm
like, yes, yes, and yes. And also what they're going to do is work with the federal government to get federal indictments, because I'm thinking if the state of New York tries to extradite Trump from Florida, DeSantis would pull some funny stuff. But if they get a federal warrant, DeSantis can't stand in the way of that. He'll have to extradite him. Right. Okay, this is a good one from Julie. Will Reality Winner, or Reality, what's her name? Yeah, Reality Winner, the one that's in jail for passing on information. What was the question? I'm sorry. Will she ever be released? The answer is yes. Okay. I mean, she didn't do anything worse than some of the people in the Trump administration did. She was trying to let people know. She was trying to let people know, and I think they used her as a scapegoat. I do too. Will 45's team ever use his dementia as a defense? That's from Sam. 45 can't be demented. He doesn't have a brain. I'm sure, well, they got to be careful with that one. I'm not a lawyer, but if they try to say it's dementia, because, you know, a lot of people say that he's right with it in his head. So they got to be real careful with that. Right, right. You know, I think probably what they'll do is a whole different defense and just try to blame everybody else. But Cheryl asked, will a new version of the Fairness Doctrine be introduced to Congress, and will it pass? Well, the new of the what? New version of the Fairness Doctrine. I do see a new version coming. but I think, we got to get a lot done before the midterms and there's another reason why people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of those people are playing to the Trump base, because they're trying to get all these suppression laws in the South put in place because they know the midterms are coming. They don't give a crap about the constituents. They just want to hold on to power. And this is all in a way to try to energize Trump's base and get their support because they think that they're going to win the midterms. That's what it's all about.
Okay, will the government, no, wait. Oh, here it is, Mary. Mary asks, is Stacey Abrams planning her gubernatorial run?
I hear yes to that.
Okay.
What do you think, Linda?
I think yes too. I've always seen her running.
Yep, I'm hearing yes.
Okay. Interesting, Kimberly. I didn't know this was an issue. Will there be a solution to the plastic problem in the next 5 to 10 years?
I don't know. Oh, you mean the plastic that we're throwing in the environment that's not biodegradable? I do see, at least 60 or 70% of us becoming more environmentally aware.
Okay.
And I think what grocery stores are going to start doing is giving maybe a small rebate or discount for people who bring reusable grocery bags.
Okay. Okay.
And so we will see a decrease in the amount of plastics that we're consuming. Yes.
Okay. Here's from Octavia. My question for you and Mel is Chris Christie, Dem. Chris Christie is a Democrat?
No, he's a Republican.
Yeah, he's so Octavia, she said he's planning to run against DeSantis for governor. Will we be able to? No, Chris Christie isn't going to.
Christie's in Jersey.
Huh?
Chris Christie's in New Jersey and DeSantis is in Florida.
Yeah, so sorry, Octavia, we got the wrong info here.
Yeah, I think that might have the names mixed up a bit there.
And also someone saying, AS is saying, will a new governor of New York pardon Trump for his crimes in New York? So I'll tell you, if it was Rudy Giuliani's son, who's not going to win, if he was governor, he would pardon him. But I see a Democrat coming in for governor as New York.
So do I. And if a new governor came in and pardoned Trump for Trump's misdeeds in New York, that would kind of be fodder for Merrick Garland to look into, see, okay, what's going on with obstruction and who got paid off. Exactly. Because Trump was taking money, and they're going to prove that too for pardons.
Right, exactly. So which leads to this last question I'll ask. Will, love you too, thank you. Will Andrew Cuomo become governor again?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I can say one thing, he's not giving up, and I think his popularity in New York is still way up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think if he runs again,
his popularity is actually up there.
I think if he runs again, he'll win. That's what
I feel his popularity is up there.
I have a question too from some people. Is that okay?
Yeah, but I have to go in a few minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I love doing this. So
I know we're almost at an hour.
I know. People are asking and if we've already asked this, forgive me, about this bipartisan commission, which passed the House and the Senate's blocking it, about January 6th. And they're wondering if there will be an investigation. And if the Republicans block it, will the Democrats go ahead and do one independently?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I'm sorry?
Absolutely.
Somebody was calling me. I could hear my hearing aids and hearing my phone ring. I'm like, whoa. I turned it off. But
you sure it's not an alien?
It could have been. Anyway, so yeah, I see that, even if the Senate tries to block it, the Trumplicans in the Senate, I still see that the Democrats doing an independent commission.
Okay.
And Merrick Garland's going to investigate all that too. So
I love it. I love it.
Me too. And there'll be indictments handed down from that'll go all the way up to Trump. And Giuliani, folks, he's going to go to jail too.
Love it.
All right.
All right, sweetie, as you know, I've got to get out to Angel Heart and do a bunch of business today.
Now, if people want to get a reading from you, people are asking me, okay, they would go to Angel Heart for You. Is that how they would book a
Angel
reading?
Heart, the number 4, the YOU.net.
Okay.
I'll put it on this video on the bottom.
Well, I want to put it on my channel too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I always tell people to come to your channel. So,
Thank you, honey.
all right.
Unfortunately, I'm booking in December now. So,
I don't even know when I'm booking. My office handles it. I don't.
yeah, they're handling it. That's why, people say,
Right,
oh, I just noticed you're booking in December. Is there any way you can get me in earlier? It's like, no, unfortunately.
Pop me and I said, I'm going like, you got to talk to my office people.
Exactly. Okay, sweetness. You take care.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
My friend Nancy Regan, I've had her on my show. Her mother just passed away yesterday. So would everybody please send healing energy to Nancy Regan's family? Nancy's a dear friend. She's an energy worker. She's wonderful.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, sweet.
Everybody pray. Cheers.
Cheers. Namaste.